And welcome back to the Hotline. We're talking Knockhill and we're also talking PMR returns after what was an absolute disaster for Power Maxed Racing, but they've not given up yet. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be looking at the Knockhill circuit, looking at the timetable, trying to predict the weather. Bearing in mind in Scotland it's even harder than it is in England, other than rain. Yes, it normally rains in Scotland. But the British Touring Car Championship is back at one of the favourite circuits, and it is an absolutely awesome circuit. A small but awesome one. We'll get into all of that now. So let's talk about Power Max Racing first. The most important story really going around. I mean, here we go. This was an open letter from Power Maxed Racing. Dear partners, competitors, fans, and most of all, friends. Devastated just doesn't cover it. And why are they saying that? Well, because this is what it looked like. Yeah, as you can see, there is a reminiscent of a car there. And it looks like an absolute disaster. It destroyed the Power Max Racing headquarters. Really, really sad. But they said on Saturday, disaster struck at Power Max Racing and the wider Power Max business. So they do more than just obviously BTCC Racing. With a force here we could never have imagined. A tsunami of fire pretty much. And it ripped through everything. And when we mean everything, they said destroying absolutely everything. Our product factory, our stock warehouse, our race team. They said the heat was so intense. It was so intense. It melted gearbox casings, reduced entire engines to warped metal engines. Bearing in mind, engines are designed to be run hot, but it warped molten metal. It changed it to warped molten metal. What the absolute heck? And left nothing but ash and twisted steel of the buildings. Years of work, equipment, investment was destroyed in a matter of hours. All tools, spare parts and components have been lost. We are starting again from nothing. Yet they're saying, in true PMR fashion, we refuse to stand still. This weekend we still take to the grid at Knockhill. Woohoo! With at least one car. Bit more news on that in a second. And it will be the biggest challenge in our history to have a race car ready in time. But we will do it. Sleep can wait. Amen. They're talking about we want to fly the flag for all our brands and partners and show them what a promise to deliver really looks like. This is how committed we are as a company and as a group of people to deliver on our promises, to make it happen and to rebuild for the future. We are likely to need help from the motorsport community and the BTCC family. Within that, it is the greatest community on earth and we have no doubts it will deliver. And this is seeing a car go out in FP1 on Saturday will be one of the proudest moments of my life. It will show the tenacity of our team, partners and the incredible motorsport community. We are on the phones begging and borrowing to make it happen. Yes, they are. But more on that in a second. This weekend isn't just about racing. It's about proving what can be achieved when people pull together and never give up. Similar to Hamilton's still I rise mentality. And I sincerely hope that by demonstrating this, it can also motivate others who may be facing difficulties in their own lives, ensuring that some positive outcomes. They're talking about thanks to the incredible generosity of the Patterson family, well known to BTCC fans, we have borrowed their recently purchased ex-Sumpton BTCC car. Normally preparing and wrapping a race day is a 14-day job. We have less than 5 with no premises and no tools. No tools, think about that. They don't, do they? We are committed to delivering a competitive car on the grid this Sunday, demonstrating what can be achieved. Through hard work and the support from Motor Parts Direct, with Power Max Racing, our partners, but also the wider motorsport community. Our factory may be gone, but our spirit is very much alive. If you can help in any way, no matter how small, please get in touch. Together, we can rebuild from the ashes and show the world what true motorsport resilience looks like. Never give up and watch this space. Your mad friend leading an equally mad but amazing group of people, Adam. And this, I thought, when I first did this, I didn't have enough time to do a breaking news segment for the touring cars, unfortunately. But I thought, okay, at some point I'm going to have to talk about this. And at the time I was talking about it, I thought, it's over. Power Max Racing, they will be back, but it might not even be this season. And the fact that they're back for Knockhill is absolutely amazing. Yeah, and there it is. Whilst no injuries were reported, the cause of the blaze, though, is currently unknown. And business and team owner Adam Weaver confirmed the total destruction of his business. Everything is gone. and that was around 11:50 British Standard Time on the 10th of August. I mean, Adam Weaver said yes about it's all gone. It's sadly true. He told social media today at 1 p.m. I got the call to say that there was a big fire near our work premises. I headed over. As I approached, it was easy to see the fire. I had to stand there and watch as 20 years of blood, sweat and tears burnt to the ground in 20 minutes. I mean, absolutely everything is gone. The manufacturing warehouse, stock warehouse, and possibly the saddest of all, the race team. There is nothing at all left, not a thing. And he's talking about being gutted for belief for himself and his family and the people, obviously, that are part of Power Racing. But I will kick, fight, punch, and damn near kill myself again to come back from this and come back from it. And then very much come back from this, they will. Nothing left but our fighting spirit. I mean, yeah, it's just, it's just crazy, isn't it? But Unlimited Motorsport announced Cooper loan to Power Racing. Yes, the British Touring Car Championship outfit, Unlimited Motorsport, have confirmed that they have taken the decision to loan one of their Coopers to Power Racing. If you remember, Unlimited Motorsport, I think, missing, I think, a couple of BTCC rounds. And this past weekend saw a devastating fire destroy Power Racing's entire workshop and race operation, leaving the independent squad with the prospect of missing the remainder of the season. However, one Cooper already secured. Unlimited Motorsport. Sorry, that's one Motorsport that's missing. It's Unlimited Motorsport. My mistake. Sorry about that. Before you start typing in the comments, I got confused. I've ensured that both Mikey Doble and Nick Halstead will be on the lineup to the grid for Knockhill this weekend. The car in question is the one most recently used by Stephen Jelly. Due to exceptional circumstances, TOCA, and they're the organisers, as you know, of Touring Car, they're taking the decision to permit the lease of this car from Unlimited Motorsport to PMR. Yes, makes sense. Unlimited Motorsport will continue with two cars. That's Nicholas Hamilton and Dexter Patton. We don't know what Stephen Jelly is going to do. The traitor from One Motorsport to Unlimited Motorsport, or not. But there we go. Hearing the news that Power Racing have been destroyed by a huge fire struck a chord with us and everyone within our community. Bob Sharpless said of Unlimited Motorsport. And he went on to saying, we know how difficult it is to build a business and a race team, as well as the human story behind such devastation, and we wanted to see if there was anything we could do to support. We've been discussing the situation with business partner Matt Edwards and Adam Weaver, and it was clear that Unlimited Motorsport loaning a car to PMR would be of huge significance. We are looking forward to the weekend where we will compete with each other as hard as we always do. Yeah, and even Adam Weaver said the outpouring of support since the weekend has the outpouring of support since the weekend has been nothing short of incredible and nearly underlines my previous point. The BTCC is the most amazing motorsport community anywhere in the world. Yeah, fair point. I think it'll be tough to disagree with that comment. When you look at what they're doing, it's absolutely amazing. So, good news story, if I'm honest. But let's get into then our Knockhill preview. So this is currently the Drivers' Championship, separated by a handful of points. That handful of points is just 8 single-digit figures between Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton, with Dan Rowbottom with a watching brief. Now, I think anyone in the top 5 could potentially still technically win the championship. Realistically, it's just going to be the top 2, isn't it? Sadly, it's just going to be the top 2. I think between Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton, it's not looking great, is it? Sorry, I was about to cough again, and I just needed a bit of a drink. So, Tom Ingram 273, Ash Sutton 265, and in terms of this weekend, it's going to be really interesting. Knockhill is a skinny circuit, which we'll get into in a bit. The amazing venue. I mean, here is the timetable for Knockhill. I don't think. Let's try and zoom in a bit more for you people. So we've got 9:45, 9 o'clock. Obviously, we have the qualifying, but that's not for the BTCC. That's for obviously the F4 Championship, which returns. Free practice, so at 9:40, where are we going to see Power Racing launch their new cars, or their newly purchased cars, or blended cars. But in relation to the actual qualifying, that's going to be the standard 3 till 4 o'clock available, I think, on ITV YouTube, isn't it, as well, which it is, which I think is brilliant. The big day, though, is obviously Sunday. So the first touring car race is going to be 11:25. 24 laps of awesomeness. The next touring car race is going to be 2:35. And the final one is going to be... yeah, there it is. I had to scroll down. I was like, where is it? 17:25. Sorry about that. When we actually have a look at the circuit, here we go. The circuit map. I mean, it's quite a small circuit. There are overtaking opportunities, aplenty. I'm like a doofus dip, but in between that, it gets a bit tight, if I'm honest. So, on that note, let's then have a look at the circuit, shall we? And welcome back to our touring car preview for Knockhill, where we are going to look at that track. Let's do just that then, shall we? So, as you can see, we are on the start-finish straight. We've just taken Taylor's hairpin, which we'll get into in a bit. And we're off to do pit dip. Yes, well, you can overtake. I said overtaking the plenty. You really need to be side by side. It's quite a twisty circuit. And even alongside here, we've seen cars side by side going into Leslie and then McIntyre's. And after McIntyre's, love the name by the way, we've got Butcher's. And then we've got, on your two wheels, Black Circle Chicane, which seemingly, I was having trouble on the game, but you can always take flat. And so after that, it is Clark's, which is another sort of overtaking. Then we've got this long left-hander called Hislop's at about lining up. This is getting ready for that hairpin. The hairpin called Taylor's hairpin, which is an overtaking place. You often see cars side by side, dive bombing, etc. to do it all again 24 times in the BTCC. So there we go. If you enjoyed that, let's then have a chat then about some of the drivers then, shall we? Some of the people that are going to be at the touring car weekend. And as we mentioned, we're absolutely psyched that Powermax Racing will be at this touring car weekend. Let's have a look at some of our friends, and shall we? So we have Tom Ingrid. As we know, Tom Ingrid is currently leading that BTCC champion. Is he going to continue leading it come the end of the race weekend? That's the big if, isn't it? There's only 8 points. Now, the big thing here, it is quite hard to overtake, and I think qualifying for that first race is going to be really, really important. And then I feel that Ash Sutton over Tom Ingrid is faster over one lap when it comes to qualifying. Not necessarily race pace so much, but in terms of qualifying, I do think Ash Sutton definitely has the pace over Tom Ingram, and Tom Ingram is going to have slightly less of that boost, for example, than Ash Sutton. Do I expect either to get pole? Probably not, but it is a short circuit, so I think the lack of boost may well not hinder them as much as some other circuits, for example, Donington or Croft, or even Alton Park, where there are like more significant straights. So in relation then to Ash Sutton, I think going forward, I think he's going to get more points, and I predict Ash Sutton's going to lead the championship come the end of the weekend. Not by much though. It wouldn't surprise me if either Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton share a win each. At least, or if not a win, we'll be sharing podiums, very much so. But as I said, the key to the weekend is going to be qualifying and getting that first race, having a first incident-free race. Because as we know, if they're in the top 3 in race number 2, it's on those hard tyres, which may well be an issue. Which then brings me to my next person, who's currently 4th in the championship, Dan Camish. I think this guy we know he's good in qualifying. Yes, he doesn't have the lack of boost, for example, that his teammate does, or Tom Ingram. I can see him almost starting on the front 2 rows, and I just see him potentially winning race 1, or even maybe race 2. He needs to. He's just shy of 90 points behind Tom Ingram, and I think if he wants to be in that championship, he's very much going to have a really, really strong race weekend. So let's talk about one guy that wasn't here for Croft the last race, and that's Jake Hill. Championship over? Probably. Completely over? Never say never. he's going to have to win all 3 races, I think, isn't he? But the problem is that BMW, other than at Brands Hatch and that, maybe Croft, it looked okay as well. It's not been looking the same, as I said, since Colin Turkington, since they, I want to say, dumped Colin Turkington. I don't know whether it was a mutual thing. As a Colin Turkington fan, I still feel the sting of that a little bit, if I'm honest, a little bit. But I think, if he wants to win that championship or wants to defend it, or in any way, he needs to win all 3 races, I think, and at least beat Ingram and Sutton in all 3 of those races. Will he? I'm not too sure. And when you look at it, obviously Josh Crook's not going to be there, which is a shame. But I'm not too sure what's going to happen to Stephen Jelly with that announcement from Powermax Racing that they're using Stephen Jelly's Cupra from Unlimited Motorsport, not One Motorsport, which I always seem to get apparently confused with. So, but Mikey Doble and Nick Halstead are going to be back, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Well done, Tim. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm so happy that Powermax Racing is back. But let me talk about one more guy, and that one more guy, I'm just trying to look for him on my drivers list. It's very much going to be the home weekend for him, and it's this guy here, Gordon Jensen. Yes, he has won a race this year. Is he going to win this race? I don't know, but it's going to be a big homecoming for him. I'm hoping he's at least on a podium for one of the 3 races. He knows this track arguably better than anyone else. I think if he can get that Toyota right, and the problem with that Toyota seems to be that getting that car set up right, he just does not feel comfortable with it. It kind of reminds me of Hamilton in the Ferrari or Sainz in the Williams at the moment. If you're a Formula 1 fan, they're just struggling a bit to get everything out of that car, where it could potentially just be a tiny bit better. A few tenths here, a few tenths there, and you're looking at comfortably top 10, top 5. And I think Gordon Jensen is just missing that familiarity with getting that car set up, the sweet spot of that Toyota, which seems to kind of be a bit of a knife edge at times. But I think if he can get it, we've seen him win before. I think he can win again here. I would love him to win a race. So coming away from this race weekend, I think it's going to be Tom Ingram and Ash Dutton are very much favourites to do very well. Dan Rowbottom could sneak in. I think Dan Camish therefore would, maybe Tom Chilton. I think Jake Hill absolutely needs to do well, but that BMW seems to be struggling everywhere unless it's Brands Hatch. But this is a small circuit. This is a bit Brandsy in terms of, okay, I get it. Brands doesn't really have a hairpin, but those medium speed corners and quite a tight, small track. It could do it. It does have slightly tighter corners though, so we'll have to see with that BMW. But well done to Powermax Racing, and yeah, if I'm honest, I'm just really looking forward to it. So from that championship to Powermax Racing. Yeah, from the ashes of Powermax Racing is going to come, hopefully, an absolutely fantastic weekend. If you have made it to the end, please give us a subscribe. If you have not subscribed, if you're already subscribed, great. To be fair, though, ultimately, you just watching this video is more than enough for us. But if you want to do a bit more, hit that like button as well. We'd really appreciate that. So, until then, thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon. But above all else, stay safe.